Hey everybody, it's Ozone, and we are back on the Floriann SMP to do a little bit more cozy building. Not much has changed in my house. I did incorporate a couple of suggestions that I had on a video, but honestly I didn't get that many, so I'll take that as a win, and that everybody thinks that the house looks pretty darn good. I know I'm sure happy with it. But as always, there have been a lot of changes on the server. I put a waypoint in my house. It's just too convenient rather than going out and using the public waypoint in the middle of Spawn Village. I also haven't really done anything to move my house. I'm happy with my house for right now, although there's been a pretty big change here too. Namely, we've got an advanced wireless terminal, and that means I can access my stuff from anywhere. Outside the house? Yep, no problem. As a matter of fact, I can be anywhere in any dimension thanks to this chunky thing. I guess it's a good thing I didn't decorate the attic because, well, I needed it. A beacon is what enables the advanced wireless terminal to actually be useful, like at all. But anyway, so it turned out to be a pretty good space up here in the attic to put the beacon. And I adapted the house with a giant chimney to allow the beacon beam to head out. So that's super convenient. We've also been a little bit busy here in the industrial city. Namely, I got the sugarcane farm moved and put into its own building, and this is where I want to focus the rest of this episode. But in addition to the sugarcane farm, we've got another building down here that I did, because right here was a basic vanilla cow crusher. And so I made another building here with a create-based cow crusher that stuffs the cows with this deployer. And before they get entity crammed and we collect all the goodies. But one of the biggest problems is this box right here has the cows, and when they get born, well, sometimes they just clip through, and so you'll end up with cows wandering around here in the building. I don't really think that there's anything I can do about that. The bigger problem is up above, because we have a crate-based wheat farm up here to collect all the wheat and feed the cows. But it's too small. What I'm finding out, or what I'm realizing, is that by time one wheat grows and a cow gets fed and put into the breeding mood, it takes too long for another wheat to grow and get collected. And so most of the time, most of the wheat is just getting wasted. The only way I can see to solve this is just to be adding more floors. So that'll have to happen at some point. And lastly, I have been working over here to build out all the levels of the slime farm and get it set up. It's not super fast, but it gets the job done. I don't think we need a ton of slime, but we got enough. Today, though, I want to focus on the sugarcane farm. I specifically made this first level open and not farm because I want to make sure that it can be decorated. We're going to need the farm outputs and controls to be available, and they'll just have to be worked into the design here. But there's lots of space to be decorated out into something pretty looking. And what is more appropriate for a sugarcane farm than a candy store? The idea's just been percolating in my head, and I can't let it go. So today, that's what I'm going to focus on doing. We're going to make a candy store here. I was out in the world exploring, and I found a building made out of these red bricks. We've got a lot of brick here in the industrial city, and I feel like red brick is a very nice variation to work on. So I've been doing some AFKing and getting the supplies ready. Additionally, a candy store needs lots of bright colors, and we certainly have plenty of those here in the mod packs that are available to us. So I've got some ideas about how to utilize some of those brightly colored things that we've got, like corundrium. Corundrium? I don't know how to say it. Corundum? Yeah, I think that's it. Like that, and some of the bright tree leaves that we have over there, I think would also make for some nice elements within the candy store. But the game itself offers some candy through Farmer's Delight and its related cooking packs. So I think first thing first, we have to make some candy. I don't know what those recipes are like. I don't know what it takes, but I have to imagine it's going to require some sugar. And yeah, let's make some candy so we have some decorations for the candy store. Home sweet home. I'm glad I've got this little cooking set up. So let's start off with some candy. This candy is from Supplementary, so I don't think we're going to need any of these cooking things. No, it's just sugar, paper, and honey bottles. And we get 8 bits of candy. Well, it doesn't look like I have any honey bottles, so it's back to the Industrial District 5 go to get some of those from the bee farm. I'm glad we have that set up, though. It makes it really easy. Now, I've never shown this off. I don't even know who made this, but it is really nice. All we got to do is put stuff into the chest here, and they get honeyed. You can fill up buckets, bottles, or make honeyed apples. And they get put onto the conveyor belt and filled up with honey. In the meantime, the bees are working hard to collect the honey, and there's a tank back there. You can barely see through the glass where the honey has been collected. We've got way more than enough, so it should be no problem to make this candy up. All right, sugar, paper, honey, no problem. Yeah, boom, easy peasy. Let's make a bunch of this up, I guess. I don't honestly think I'll be using this much, but it's good to have it anyway. You know, let me ask, is there anything that we can do with this candy? It doesn't seem like it. No. I was hoping we could make like a crate of candy or something like that. Oh well. Moving on. Rock candy. Ooh, rose quartz in a cooking pot. That stuff's not cheap to make, really, but we can definitely afford to make a few of these for sure. What else we got? Cotton candy. Ooh. Okay, so this is Farmer's Delight, and that's Farmer's Delight. And I think most of this, the candy cane. Okay, so we'll just be using the Farmer's Delight cooking pot for pretty much everything else. All right, so this stuff required, what is it again? Rose quartz and some sugar. Okay, and then we had to put sticks. Oh, actually, oh, we do have to get sticks. There we go. Interesting. Yeah, it brings it down here. It uses up one of the sticks and it brings it down here. Okay, nice. Some rock candy. Now, the question is, can we do anything with this? Are there any other recipes that we can use this rock candy in? And the answer is still no. Well, next up, ooh, cane syrup. We got to figure out how to make that. And some salt dust. I know I've got some salt that I've collected from somewhere else. Cane syrup. How do we get that? Sugarcane juice bucket. And that's 3 sugar canes into a bucket. Okay, this one, cotton candy, is definitely going to be a multi-step process. But I think there should be no problem in doing this. All right, time to start working on some corn syrup, right? So it's sugarcane juice. And I think we can do that. Stick some buckets in here. Yep, there we go. No problem. We'll just get a few of those. Why not? And next, we got to refine it. Oh, I've got to put more buckets in? What happened to my buckets? Is it using them up? It is. It's just plain using them up. I don't get the bucket back. Huh. Well, that seems like a problem. I guess it's a good thing we got the iron farm, huh? All right, and now we need salt and sugar. And where do we get salt? Oh, we just... The bucket of water gives us salt, huh? You know, I guess that makes sense. Like a desalinization plant right here or something. Again, I don't think I get this bucket back, though. Nope. Nope, it's just there. Well, let's see what I've got in terms of salt that I've collected. Oh, there's my buckets. They're sitting right there. Whew. Not that I was really worried about it, but I was annoyed by it. Okay, so, again, syrup, sugar, and salt. Syrup, sugar, and salt. That's not right. Oh, it's powdered sugar, which we get from just crafting up sugar. Interesting. I guess let's grab a bit of that. Yeah, I could not tell a difference at all between powdered sugar and regular sugar. Huh. And there we go. Some cotton candy. Yum. I mean, I say yum. I haven't eaten it, and I can't eat it. I need to get some saturation lost. Oh well, it's great to have some candy to put into the candy store. All right, a bunch of cotton candy made up. Now the next one is the candy canes, needing 2 sugar and red and white dye. Red dye, white dye. Okay, nice. This is going to be a very festive candy shop, I think. All right, so now let's look at some of these other things. This is hot cocoa with marshmallows and candy cane. I don't really feel like that needs to be in a candy store. What do we got here? This is candy cane ice cream with some vanilla ice cream and peppermints. Okay, peppermints are not something that have candy in the name, so they didn't show up here. But I think it works to. Oh, I think we should make some, and that should be very easy. Nice. Well, let's get some of these peppermints then. How shall we? Okay. Boom. 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 That's pretty darn easy. Having my offhand make multiple motions to put it onto the cutting board is a bit strange. I find that disconcerting, but regardless, we got 60 peppermints now to go with the 15 candy canes, or a little out of proportion, I guess, right here. But that's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine. All right, coming back here to look for chocolate bar, and we have quite a few options. Oh, yum! Apple cream filled chocolate pastry bar. I mean, it's not candy. It doesn't really fit, but wow. Now I kind of want to make a pastry shop. All right, chocolate bar, sugar, cocoa beans, and a milk bottle or a milk bucket. I mean, that seems pretty darn easy, honestly. Chocolate nut granola bar and bar of chocolate. Needing mass. Okay, so this is definitely going to be more involved. I don't really feel the need to make this bar of chocolate when this chocolate bar is seems to be so much easier to make. See, I want to like put some paper wrapping on it and have it sit out on the counter, but no. All right. Well, we'll make up some of these chocolate bars and then some chocolate coins as well, I guess. Or maybe not. Maybe we'll just stick to the candies. I don't have any cocoa beans, and I don't really feel like the chocolate bars are required. All right, looking around a little bit more, I typed in sweet as my filter criteria here, and we have got a lot of things that have sweets in the name. Cakes, cinnamon, chocolate sweet rolls, ooh, ice cream. All looks really lovely, but I don't really feel like it's anything that we need for a candy shop. Got to stay on task here. Well, now that we've had some fun making candy for decorations here, now it's time to actually get started on this building. I did it initially out of stone brick, so let's get this all redone with the red bricks. Well, there we have the structure of a building. The amount of brick that I had collected was clearly not enough. So it's a good thing I've got the brick factory going a little bit more, but I do like the way this is looking. We've got some big windows right up front, and the little windows over the door are kind of nice. I really kind of like how this wall here makes the building feel rounded, and we've got doors on both sides of the streets. Up above, I've got some windows laid out because these are going to be offices or apartments or something else, and it doesn't really matter. We're gonna like decorate these windows just a little bit, but not a lot. The real decoration is going to be inside, and yeah, it's still an empty slate. So I guess let's start talking about it. Kind of thinking two things. I'm kind of thinking like rustic frontier trades hall where you've got barrels of candies that are all wrapped up in paper, like just sitting out, barrels of sweets. But then I'm also thinking like 1950s soda shop kind of thing, where you got pristine white display cabinets with things inside. I'm also thinking the candy shops that you see in touristy areas where they have a really big work area and the process of making candy itself is sort of on display. So that's what I've got these big windows for. This one is really better for a ground level display type of thing, but this one's bigger. So I think I might set up a candy turning table here and for the workers to use, but the rest of the store over here will be for people to buy things, right? I think that's the idea. And I think I'm going more for a modern candy store and less of the rustic frontier trading post. You do find a lot of the modern stores that have barrels and stuff out in the middle, and so I still think that that is a technique that's going to work well. But I've got some really good ideas for like the pristine white display cases. So let's get started. And this is where I'm going to start using something pretty clever. There are these things called copycats. They're a create thing. Copycats come in a wide variety of shapes. And basically, they just define the shape, and then you apply another block to it in order to define the texture. And what I'm thinking over here is a solid iron table. But in traditional vanilla, all you have are the iron trapdoors, and they have holes. And that's not going to work for something that you make candy on, now is it? And honestly, these things are pretty cheap. It's a zinc ingot, which, you can find pretty good amounts of. I've been able to find quite a bit. So let's go with Copycat trapdoor. Oh, look, we get 4 trapdoors from 1 zinc ingot. I also know I'm going to want some of these Copycat slopes for reasons. And then these Copycat layers, these also sound really, really interesting. And so in order to use them, we put them down and they function like any other trapdoor, I would seem. Yeah, but then you hit them with the block that you want to copy. And now all of a sudden, we've got iron trapdoors. I think that's the look that I'm after. I'd really prefer something more shiny and silvery, but I really don't think that we have anything like that. Zinc ingot? Probably not. Now the annoying thing is it does take a block every time you use one of these, right? So I put down some copycats, and then it's going to use a block of iron on each one in order to take that shape. But when you break the copycat, you get your original block back. So it can get a little expensive. But there's also a wide variety of shapes that are available. So I'm using these shafts as table legs, but there's actually even something better. This is a vertical slice. It's a lot like a bar, but I really like the darker tone on it. So I really think this is going to be a much better table leg than anything else, honestly. So we'll put these guys down, and yeah, boy, that's a good looking table right there. But I do have to wonder, what's the difference between a trapdoor and a panel? Oh, the panels are vertical and they don't flap. I do like this arrow for adding new ones. That's nice. I'm sure I'll find a use for them somewhere. But I think the other clever usage I had in mind is to use these copycat slopes. This is a shape that you just can't get really anything else. Macaw's Roofs adds a slope like this that you can use on a lot of on your roofs. But given that you can texture this any way you want, and for the purposes of a display case, glass. Oh, that'll work great for a display case. So, we've got some clever usages going on here with copycats, huh? And now the other thing that I really wanted to do, like I said, was barrels. So we could have a row of barrels here in the middle. I want them all facing up, though, not sideways. And then with some copycat layers on top. And then what we can do is we can take pretty much anything that has some pop of color to it and put it on there, and that's going to look like a barrel full of whatever. So for instance, I've got some corundum that I picked up and these various colored leaves. Now don't those look like a barrel full of stuff? I think they do, but we can do even better. By first placing down the filler block that I want to use, like these leaves, and then putting a copycat panel on each side, we can make a little barrel. And we can apply the barrel texture by hitting the top face of the Copycat panel. Now, doesn't that look pretty cool? And I think we can even fill out the barrel by putting in one of these slices. Oh my, doesn't that look lovely? Now this uses a lot of materials. That's 8 barrels to make this one barrel full of candy. But doesn't it look amazing? And it can get even better. These are Copycat layers. They're like snow layers or leaf litter layers. You can build them up to the height that you want and then apply a texture. This in conjunction with the panels around the outside. And now we have a barrel that's not full. Doesn't that look amazing? I have been converted. I never knew that copycats were so versatile, but we could do some pretty amazing things with them. So let me get to going here, and we'll come back when I've got the decorating all done. Well, here we go. I think I'm finally ready to call this candy store done. I think it looks really colorful. I think it looks really fun, and I'm really happy with what I've done here. We've got ourselves a candy guy making candies on the table here in front of the window for all of the passerbyers to see. And we've got a copper pot because they always seem to use a copper pot in these confectionaries. Something about temperature, I guess. I don't really know. I'd moved the barrel with all of the sugar cane back to the back because I didn't want to see the chutes going from top to bottom. So now it's encased in some bricks and it looks like it's just a pillar in the on the wall there. And I didn't want to do the same thing here in front of the window. So I moved it from this side to this side. Pretty easy to do. Got ourselves a nice little blackboard here telling people that this is the cotton candy stand. And we've got a cotton candy being made in the well there. Nice. Now these are not exactly candies, they're jams, but they're very colorful, and I really love it. We got a scale there to weigh all your candies, and then we've got another person working behind the counter back here with barrels of candies to give people, or maybe ice cream. I don't really know. Got some candies on the table in front of the window for people to look at, and different barrels of candy all around. And these guys, they look really, really good. It took 8 barrels per barrel in order to texture this all out well. But I like it, and I like the ability to have an incompletely full barrel, although this is the only one that I did that with. All of the others are just kind of over full, like these guys back here. Now outside, we've got some very cool red awnings, and I did a different brick outside. I think that sets it off nicely. Some little placards out here trying to advertise the store. And then we've got this really large sign that's in the works. Also got a fire escape up and down the building here, barely covering the sign. But these are also blackboards, and I want to have some kind of very large scripted thing here, but it's going to be really hard to do. It's going to take a lot of planning to make sure that they line up well. And so I think I'm going to go to figure out how many pixels this is and go to GIMP and lay down some text and then try to copy it over. And that's probably going to take like another hour, but it'll look amazing if I can get this sign done well, don't you think? Now up here on the rest of the building, we've got some windows that have been bricked over. You know, sometimes people renovate their spaces, and you know, this is a bathroom now, and they don't want a window in their bathroom. You know, that's my lore anyway. I liked this glass. I thought that looked pretty neat, but I put black concrete behind it so that you couldn't see inside anyway. And then around the back side, I've got different indentations because, you know, the buildings are not always perfectly flat. And on this side, I've got also some spaces and indentations. And this is really just putting a wall here in between the bricks. So it works out pretty well. Oops, I forgot some concrete. Oh well. All in all, this has probably been the better part of 4 to 6 hours of decorating just this space. I guess not just decorating, because I did build the building up too, but it was a lot of work. It was a lot of time. These kinds of details just take a lot of time. And while I am really, really proud of it, I think it's marginally useful. You know, it's just the engineer in me. I don't see the value in making it look really pretty. It was kind of fun. I really got a new appreciation for copycat blocks, but at the same time, I could have been making another farm or something. I don't know. I'm waffling here because I know I said I need to do this, and I do, but it just takes so much time. But as always, I would like to hear what you have to say. The community out there often has really nice ideas for how to do things better and how to decorate things well. And, like I said, I'm here to learn. So please help me to learn. Give me those suggestions, and so I could do better next time. I think this turned out really, really well. But at the same time, I'm already seeing things that I want to change again. This floor needs to be different somehow than the ceiling. But that's getting nitpicky, and the rest of the decorations, I think, are really good. I don't know what I'm going to work on next time. We'll figure it out together, but that's all the time I have for in this episode. So if you enjoyed the cozy building time, please give the video a like. I would sure appreciate it. I'm still giving this the shot. Well, I really hoped you enjoyed this little bit of cozy building and learning about copycat panels, because I really kind of geeked out on those. In the next time, we'll figure out something new to do, and I hope you come back then. Until then, remember, be excellent to each other. I'm out.